letting go of the mind, letting go of the games of the mind and the ego. Page 44. We have been so used to these games in and around us that we have even stopped thinking intelligently. We think that we cannot control the mind because we have become so conditioned to accepting that the mind is independent that we feel it is an unbelievably hard task to bring it under control. Yet, we have been given a portion of a mind called the intellect, which is far superior. This is the controller of the mind, so to speak. We have the ability to think, plan, and execute so many complex tasks, such as making machines and artificial intelligence. It is our own intellect that has helped us to progress in this world. But during this process of making machines, we have truly forgotten the true reason why the intellect was given to us in the first place. According to the ancient sages, it is only our intellect that can help us differentiate what is truth versus not truth. Additionally, the intellect allows us to deduce what is good for others and us versus not so good for others and us. Assess a safe versus unsafe situation, what is morally right versus wrong, which thoughts and actions take us closer to the divine versus which take us away. The intellect is always sharp. The mind tends to waver. The intellect seeks the truth, while the uncontrolled mind interacts with the senses and gets lost in the subsequent emotions. The intellect plans and acts, while the untrained mind just gets confused. As the intellect becomes sharper, contemplating on the nature of the indivisible and the non-perishable truth, our mind becomes trained and is under our own control. The mind also becomes loving and caring and finds love within us and around us. A stage comes on this journey where the ego dissolves naturally and the mind feels one with everything and everyone. Our intellect then is fine-tuned with the needs of everyone and is not used for judging, but only thinking about how society can be improved. As we investigate the true nature of our own minds and intellect, which I'm using interchangeably henceforward, we ourselves realize that A, our minds are very powerful, B, our minds are constantly interacting with each other, and C, our minds are being controlled by something even bigger called the universal consciousness or Chit, pronouns Cha, It. As per Vedanta, consciousness or Chit and even the mind cannot be located, as the mind is a part of our consciousness alone. The ancient sages devised various processes and meditative techniques, and from subsequent scientific inquiry, that Chit pervades through and is around us and everywhere. The mind alone can help us to recognize this truth, or Sat, or this unchangeable portion, or the true essence of existence. Our mind is in this world, is of this world, and is yet the only part of us that will help us to go beyond this world. When well trained through self-inquiry, through reading such knowledge, personally applying this knowledge to our own set of circumstances, and using breath-based meditation interventions, it becomes easy to retreat from the world and identify with the consciousness alone. The mind becomes more and more subtle, and over a period of time and practice, it alone helps us recognize and accept that we are in, yet beyond this world. Henceforth, we can never be tainted by silly stress, anxiety, and depressive thoughts, sad thoughts, paranoia, narcissism, dependency, or neuroticism. Once we identify with the consciousness principle alone, we know for certain that nothing can kill us, damage us, or destroy us. This is because our nature is of Chit and Sat alone. To begin this journey from the senses-driven mind, drowning in the external world, to the stable, loving, peaceful mind, these sages conducted various meditative scientific experiments. They realized through various visions and experiences that the body is actually within the mind. This is as per documentation in ancient Sanatan Dharma, the Hindu scriptures, and confirmed by living sages like Sri Sri Ravi Shankar. In fact, these scriptures point out that everything that we experience and then appreciate in the external world is nothing but a projection of our own state of mind. Our own thought processes are nothing but a reflection of what we think of this world. Hence, it is said that we all have our own universe that we live in. As one practices self-inquiry regularly, that person remains in awareness alone. He or she never judges what is going on around them and is able to control their sense organs. Then our mind becomes quiet and there is no more agitation in it. Then we truly start enjoying the world and yet not get affected by it. We continue to discuss in our group and had a wonderful understanding of how the mind, intellect, and the consciousness works. In the non-enlightened state of mind, you and I, when we just start on this journey, we have so far been just a slave to our own senses. What we eat, the company that we keep, even how we sleep, where have we slept, the environment that we are in has a big influence on the mind. And we just go with the mind. If I'm having bad thoughts, we start thinking, I am bad. Nothing can get better, as an example. Or if we are having good thoughts, oh, I'm good, I'm a really good person. We start thinking that way. As we progress further on the journey, we realize that the intellect has a big role. The intellect helps us decide that sometimes, rather most of the time, my mind is stupid. It just plays games, it goes in fantasies, it just is having a lot of emotions and a lot of thoughts. That's it. But that intellect is sharp and it knows what to do. In the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, yamas and niyamas are described, how we should be living a life. The sense of discipline, breath control, asanas, how do we interact with others, and that's another topic. But when the intellect is purified by yamas and niyamas, then samadhi happens naturally. Means our mind and intellect have been purified enough that we get to a state of quietness. The interesting part is breath-based interventions like Sudarshan Kriya Yoga help us to get to that state of equanimity very quickly. And once we feel that quietness of the chit, the awareness, the intellect is supremely quiet. And then the mind becomes in your control. A final stage comes when you realize that even your intellect was not yours in the first place. It is God's. God alone is the controller. God alone puts in thoughts in our mind based on our own past experiences. And when our mind is getting purified, then we have fewer thoughts and purer thoughts. Finally, a state comes when you're hardly got any thoughts for yourself. They are not selfish thoughts anymore. You're only caring for others. You take on responsibility for the whole world, the whole society, because that's what God does. God takes responsibility. We don't shrug away our responsibilities. And sometimes that means shutting up as well, because if the other person is not ready to listen, it's best to remain shut. Silence can be very helpful. Only nudge the person when you think they're ready. That's it. The journey keeps going and going till you become completely peaceful all the time. Have a great one. See you next week.